Evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session on performance management. So we'll just start our session in 5 more minutes. As most of them are yet to join in. So we'll start at sharp 4:05. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So, thank you for joining today's session again. So, as we have earlierly discussed all the topics in PMS, how to add the competencies, objectives, and creating the questionnaire templates, and how to create a review group and cycles. So, in this session, we are going to cover the review process settings and all the various stages involved in the review process, starting from initiating the review to the release of the review. So let me know if you can see my screen. I'll just share my screen. Can you all see my screen? Okay, thank you. Okay, so if you see in the last session, we have discussed how to create a review group and the review cycle. So now we'll go ahead with the review process settings. So what are the initial steps to configure the settings in the review process? Yeah, so if you see here, the first step to configure the review process is setup review process. Here you can either clone the settings from the previous cycle that you have already created. So if this is a new cycle that you're creating, you can select configure the settings from scratch. So if you see the you can set a start date of the review cycle, and base this is based on the review group frequency that you have created. So if this is the first cycle, you will have an option to enter the start date of the review cycle, and based on the first start date, system will calculate the start date based on the frequency. Okay, and if you go to the next tab here, you can select the review participants, if self reporting manager and the manager. If there are any other externals you want to involve them in the review process, you can select them as well, and you can configure who can nominate this external employees, and what are the minimum and the maximum reviewers here. Okay, if you scroll down, and after you nominate, you can also configure who can nominate or approve the nominations that you have done. If it is reporting manager, once you approve it, he'll be approving it, and then they can nominate the employees, and they can submit the ratings for the reviewer. And if you want to hide the identity of the peers or the external, you can click on this eye icon. So once you hide it, the identity will not be disclosed for peers, whoever is that. Only the feedback and the rating submitted by them can be viewed in the review form. And you can set the number of days you need to complete the entire process, starting from releasing the review till the and involving the nominating the peers and then approving them, and after that one. So if here you can select the feedback form flow, if it is independently or sequentially. So if you select as independently, whoever are the reviewers, for all of them the review form will be sent at the same time, and it is not dependent on each other. So if you select as sequentially, you can define the order of the reviewers as required. So based on the order you define, review form will be sent on the same order. So first it will be going to self. After self submits, it will be moving to reporting manager and then to peers. You can allocate the weightage for each reviewers here, and the whole should be 100%. Okay, so for each participant, you can also set the number of days they need to complete the submission of review form. Here, if you observe in sequential form, you have option. You do not have an option to select the feedback visibility here for the first reviewer, whoever is set. So because he would be the first one, and till then no one will be submitting the review form. So from second participant, you will have an option to select who can review the ratings and the feedback given by the participant earlier. So, but if you select as independently, you will have an option to select for all the participant. You can set the visibility here. So whatever the feedback is submitted by self, the reporting manager and peers will also have a visibility on it. Okay, so this is about the employees who are measured. So if you want to measure it on or score performance, you can select it, and if it is on potential and the capability of the employee, you can select both of them. So you can rate it individually for both performance and potential for each competency or behavior which is assigned. And if you want to hide the identity of any of the participant, you can select it here. It will not disclose the name. It will show it as anonymous. And in the review form, if you want to add any instruction to the reviewer, you can add it. You can also give different instructions to different participants. So whatever you add it here, it will be visible in the review form. If you see in the advanced settings, you have an option to enable the proposed rating. Proposed rating is the rating which you, if you want to override. So system will calculate the overall rating. Apart, if you want to override that rating, you can enable this option, and you can enable the reviewer who can override it. So if reporting manager is enabled, he can override the overall rating that is calculated by system. And while overriding, if the comment is mandatory, you can enable this. Apart from the selected participant, if you want visibility to be given to manage L2 manager and the department heads, you can enable it here. So whatever the feedback is given by the reviewers, they can also see it in their portal. Till now, is it clear? Okay. Is the screen clear now? Okay, thank you. So the next stage is calibration. So calibration is the final stage where you finalize the ratings and the feedback of the employee. So he's the person who will view the overall rating, and if there is any proposed rating, and also you can create a one-on-one meeting here stage. So in addition to the existing stage, if you want to add one-on-one meeting summary, you can also add it here. Only when you create the stage here, you will have an option to update or submit the summary in the review process. So here you can configure the one-on-one meeting settings, who can be a part of this meeting, and who can update the summary. You can also set the number of days for the stage again. So post all these stages, so calibrator is a person who will view all the ratings and then finalize one rating to avoid bias. So if you say it as calibration is required, you also have other option where you can set the performance bands. You can select the distribution model. Here you have two types of model, which is bell curve and 9-box model. So based on the model you select, system will you can assign the performance bands based on the ratings you give to the employee, and the graphical representation is generated from the system. Okay, for example, you can give the labels. I have selected bell curve. You need to give a performance band for each label. Let's say exceed expectations. Meet expectations. Doesn't meet the expectations. So you can set the labels in this way and assign them based on the ratings they receive. Okay, so once you see it, you can enable the number of days for this step as well. And coming to the last step, it is review completion. So who can, before releasing the review, if you want the review summary needs to be submitted, you can enable this option and you can select the participant who can review the summary here. You can also set the number of days here. And after releasing the review, you can set the visibility here and who can release the review and who can, if the employees can see the rating, comments, and the feedback that is given by the employees or not. So based on the so for self reporting manager can view or not. If you hide it here, peers cannot see the rating that is submitted by the employee. So you can set the visibility in the review form here. Okay, so once you complete the first step, the second step is to set up the review form. So you have selected the participants. Now you need to configure the review form. Okay, so if you see, we have selected self and reporting manager peers. So for each review participants, you need to configure the review form. When you click here, so you have an option to select all the sections that are that you'll be reviewing. So in self review form, if you want to add only questionnaires, you can select only questions, and you can either add a new question or you can select from the existing templates. So these are the existing templates which you have already created. You can select the questions and add it to the review form. So these will be visible in the review form of the self. And for each question, if you want to rate it on performance or potential, so you can select it and you can select the response time. If the response type is rating only, then the weightage will be calculated. If it is other than the rating, system will not calculate the weightage for this section, I mean for the self review form. Okay, if you see select from list, if you have a list of components like yes or no, for example, if you want to give the option for the employee to respond on from the existing list you have created, you can select the list as well. I'm just selecting as rating. If you select as rating, you can select the rating scale from the drop down, and then if you want to make the comment mandatory and allow the HR attachments, you can add it. So if you see in the weightage allocation, as we have selected only one section, the whole weightage will be 100. If you have selected two, the overall should be 100. You can user define the weightages here. And similarly, we need to configure it for other participants as well. So I'll select competencies here. And again, you need to select performance or potential, a response type, and you can also add multiple sections. So I'll add competencies and objectives. So while adding objectives, you need to select the time frame. So based on the time frame you select, system will consider all the objectives which are created in that time frame. Okay. If you enable key result rating, this rating will also be given to all the key results that you have added for each objective. So again, you can select performance or potential and rating. So as we have added two sections, you can segregate the weightages. Here, overall should be 100. So based on these weightages, system will calculate the overall rating. And similarly for peers. So I have added core values as a section here and rating. Okay, so once you configure all the review forms here, the next step is to assign the employees to that review group. So if you see here, third step is to assign the employees. So if you see, there are no employees available here. The reason is you have not added any employee in this review group. So to add that in the cycle, it is mandatory that you first add the employees in the review group. You can click on add employees, select the employees from the portal, click on add. So this is the error. If there is any employee who is active in other review groups, you'll get this pop-up. So those employees cannot be added in the current cycle. At the same time, for same employee, different review cycles cannot be created. If it is different review groups, if it is in the same review group, you can add multiple cycles. But if it is different review groups, you cannot add it at the same time. Okay, so once you assign the employees, you have a review administration stage. Is it clear till now? Do you want me to repeat it? Ainisha, yes, you can enable comment or the other options apart from rating if you want to exclude them in the overall rating. Yeah. So once you configure and assign the employees, if you can go to review administration. So these are the different stages which involves in the review process. The first stage is initiate reviews. Here you'll find the employees if there are any. So let's say you have added the employees and these are the employees who are in the initiate review stage. So you can select the employees, click on initiate review. So once you initiate the review, the email notification will be sent to employees to submit the review form. So if you see here, I'm getting few errors. This is because job functions are not assigned. So one thing we need to keep in mind when we are configuring the review form. So when you're selecting a section as competency for any participant, it is mandatory that at least one job function needs to be assigned to the employee. If you're not assigned, if you miss to assign, you will get a pop-up error here in this way. It will restrict you from initiating the review. Okay, so once you initiate it, if you select external persons like peers or any external, it will be moving to the nomination stage. So you need to, whoever is the participant who can nominate the peer can nominate it from here in this stage. So you can click on approve and manage nominations. Click here. If it is peers, you can search the employee and confirm. And if it is external, you can mention the employee details here. Okay, so I have added peer here and I'll submit it. As an admin, you can do it. So once I nominate it, the employee will be moving to reviews in progress stage. In this stage, if it is sequential, based on the order that you define, system will be releasing the review form. After the self is submitting, it will be moving to the reporting manager and then to the external. So once you release it, employee will be getting the notification, email notification that the review has been initiated, and he'll be getting in me and inbox both. So you can either submit your review from me and performance, and reviews, or else you can also do it in inbox. Okay, so as a if you are a reporting manager of an employee, you can submit your reportee reviews from my team, performance, and reviews. Okay, so once both of them have submitted, then it will be moving to the peers. As a peer, you can get, so let's say if you are nominated as a peer to the employee, you can submit their reviews from me, performance, review given to others. So here you have an option. So if you see, these are the forms which are already submitted. Okay, is this clear till now? Anisha, it is depending on the reporting manager that you assign. Yeah. So if you see here, this the employees will be in this stage till all the participants have submitted the review form. Post that, if you have added one-on-one meeting stage in the review process settings, it is mandatory that you submit the review summary as well. If it is not added, you will not be getting here. It is not mandatory to submit, but if it is added as a stage, here you will have an option to submit the summary. Okay, and in case, let's say if any reporting manager or any other participants is not available, or if there is any reporting manager change, so you can click on manage users, reviewers, and change it. If for externals as peers and external, you can remove and add the new employee. But if it is a reporting manager change, you once you update it in job section and open it, delete the reporting manager from here, and once you reopen it, the reporting manager gets updated. So you need to just delete it from here and save it. So again, if you open it and add the level, so the new reporting manager gets updated. In this way, you can manage if there is any reporting manager change in mid of the review process. Okay. And if you want to send any reminders, if there is any delay from any of the participants, you can send the reminders selecting the employee here, either from send reminder, and you can individually send it from here. So you can also view a review flow here. In the review timeline, you can have all the data when you have initiated it and when you have nominated and approved it, and whoever is submitted. In the review participants, you can see all the participants that are part of review. And in the feedback form flow, you can view all the ratings that they have given. Okay. So let's say if you want to make any changes after submitting the review form, a reporting manager, if they want to change any ratings, you can unlock reporting manager form for each employee. If you go to unlock review form, I think all of them have submitted. Yeah, so here I think all of them are submitted, and so we are not getting the data here. So when you unlock this, you have option to select the participants whom you want to unlock it. So if you select reporting manager, the only the form which is filled by reporting manager will get unlocked, and he'll have an option to edit the review form in the my team tab again. If you're canceling the review of any employee, the feedback and the rating that is given will be deleted completely. If you're unlocking it, the data will be as it is. And let's say in the mid of review process, if you want to change any review process settings, you have the option to change the settings, but it is limited to only few settings. If you see, you have a settings icon here. So you cannot change the feedback form flow and the weightage is given, but if you want to change the feedback visibility, you can do it in even in the mid of the review process stage. If you want to hide any reviewer's identity, and if you want to enable the proposed rating, right? So those options can be are given here. Okay. So only limited to these settings can be managed post submitting the review process. If you want to change any settings apart from these existing ones, you need to cancel and all the employees reviews and then make the changes in the review process setting and reinitiate it again. Okay, if you go to once all the employees have moved from reviews in progress stage, it will be moved to calibration once you submit the review summary as well. So in the review calibration stage, you can select the employee. You need to assign the calibrator to that employee so that he is the person who will be finalizing the rating. You can click on assign calibrator. So once you assign it, you can initiate calibration. So once you initiate it, you can give calibrate ratings either from here and also in from my team tab. Either way you can manage this. I'll click on calibrate ratings. So if you see here, calculated rating will be shown and proposed rating. This is the override rating that is given. This is the calibrated rating. So I can select it and may override the rating, or I can also give the, if I'm not selecting, that will be the final rating, or else I can also change the rating. So these will be the final rating of the employee. So as a calibrator, as I've enabled bell curve model, I need to assign the performance bands to the employee. So based on the rating, I can select the band and confirm it. So I'm done with the calibration process now. So once I have completed with the calibration process, you can move the employee to the next stage. So till now, the system will take care of moving the stage from one state to another. But now, before releasing it, it is if you are enabling review summary, it is mandatory that you submit the summary before releasing the review, or else you need to manually complete the review and release it. So system will not automatically be releasing it. I'll click on complete. So like if you see here, if after releasing, if you want to visibility to be given for employees to view the review form, you can click on complete and show. You want to release it, but if you want to hide it from the employee, you can select as complete and hide. Reviews will be released, but the review form will not be shown to the employees in their portals. Okay. And this is the individual way of giving the ratings and assigning the bands to employee. If you have many employees, you can also go to calibration stage here section, and you can also import the ratings. once you import the ratings, you have an option to assign performance paths in bulk, and then you can visualize. So in this way, after you assign the performance bands, in this way the curve will be generated. Okay, so any queries as of now? Is it clear till now? Okay. So this is the basic. If you see, once you create a review group, so you have additional options where you can clone complete settings. So instead of cloning the group, so let's say if I add it, you can also clone it from the previous group. So as this is the initial stage, I've just created it. So if I set up the review process, see, if you see clone settings from the previous cycle, I can select the review group and also the cycle, whatever the settings you have configured, and everything will be cloned to the cycle. You no need to manually set up the review process settings, the first step. Okay, so once you complete the review process, you have a various reports. If you go in the report section, so these are various PMS reports where you can get the finalized rating and calibration report. If you see calibration wise distribution of employees bands, so you can get the performance bands. These are the reports only will can be extracted after finalizing the reviews, releasing the reviews. You cannot extract them in mid of the review process. I think okay, I think the data is not available here. So here you'll find all the performance bands that you have assigned to the employees in that particular cycle. And once you download it, you can find the data. So you have a one-on-one information report as well. So whatever the summary and the comments that you have given in the one-on-one meetings, you can extract that in this report. So uh, any queries? So basically, this is the topics and the review flow we have in the PMS. So if you have any questions, we can discuss those. You can explore the complete module. Like if you have any queries, you can always write to support@keka.com. So we can discuss this on one and in detail. Sure, Charu, you'll be